Hello everyone and welcome back. Today I'm standing a little bit. I'm at my standing desk. I've had this for a while, but I've been sitting because I'm lazy. But here we are. We're playing Mono Black again. I've mentioned it in the outro, but we're about 10 days-ish out, or 9 I guess when this comes out. Maybe a little bit more from when Bloomburrow is finally available for us to play. So we're kind of just getting through this week, and most likely you'll probably see me playing similar decks and just decks I kind of want to play in general. We're not going to break the meta and then just have it rotate, you know what I'm saying? But here we are, Mono Black again. I've played a couple of different variations today, so you might see some cards throughout the games that you've not quite seen at the end and in this list per se. But the main card I was kind of putting into my list today was this one. This card is very interesting. I think somebody mentioned it in one of the comments before, and I haven't quite played with it too much. And 3 cards for 3 life is actually a pretty good rate. So for us, especially with like something like a Shieldred in our deck, this is not really much of a downside. And also being able to just tutor something really good to our top is important enough, especially when we have a card like Kaervek in our deck. Kaervek cares a lot about it, because there's times that we'll just go grab a Tiny Bones, so we can draw that a very cheap way to commit a crime, because we'll play it, make our opponent discard, which we get value out of that most likely, and then Kaervek can start casting stuff from our graveyard and we kind of chain off. You'll see in the first game, Kaervek did the most absurd stuff I've ever seen Kaervek ever do. I was non-stop casting sorceries on my opponent's upkeep, taking cards away. At one point, my opponent has 3 cards, and I am duressing them. Again, duress isn't in this build, but it was in the other one I was playing. I was duressing my opponent and had a Deep Cavern Bat on the stack, and it was very cool. So other than that, I ended up settling here, kind of trimming those out. As the day went on, they felt a lot worse, so I kind of went back to this to see, because the main thing Mono Black needs to do is draw cards. That's the biggest problem we've had, at least I've had in the deck, is keeping cards in my hand. Especially when we have Liliana getting our opponent down to no cards. We need cards in our hand to take advantage of that. So it's tough. It's just very, very hard. So I added another draw effect. I kept Massacre Girl in as kind of a stabilizer to keep drawing cards, along with this Preacher, hopefully, and Kaervek to kind of using our graveyard as draw effects, you know, as we get to reuse our cards over and over again. But with that said, we're going to go ahead and hop into the games. I hope you all enjoy them. And if you enjoy my content, please consider subscribing. I truly appreciate it. Let's just head out there and see what variation of this deck does truly work the best. Yes? It's definitely a weird one, but we'll keep. We have a Liliana with a card that can put a lot more cards back in our hand. 3 to be in fact. 3 mana draw 3. Definitely a card that will benefit from playing. Jeffrey, you don't have to be a jerk. Oh. Okay. I'm sorry. Didn't realize you had it like that. I can't beat that. Can't. And it kept on top, so it's probably a land, if I had to guess. But we're going to pretend like this is going to be something I can actually keep up with and beat. Go for the throw. Not good. So we'll get rid of it.
Enough with the mysteries.
Also, like, having Kaervek in there is, like, fine. And then when I minus here with Kaervek, I might be able to cast this bat back. Fading Hope is probably the spell I'm going to see get fired off here. So I should attack while I can. And then most likely Fading Hope, they're going to play their land. They're going to synthesizer me. Or they're going to fire the victory my Liliana. They didn't even look for a land there. See, I like the Fading Hope plan of getting Deep Cavern Bat out. But let's see what they go for here. Let's attack first. Not reveal any information I don't have to. This can come in, and then I'll just name Rogue on it, I suppose. I'll play Hostile Investigator. If they draw that land, they can Brotherhood in me. But I'm not going to play Kaervek into this. This might not necessarily be the best. They do Fading Hope my bat. They're looking for a land into play synthesizer. I don't think I have a single answer in my deck for this. Mightstone, Weakstone, probably. Thran Spider. Thran Spider makes you mana. No shot, right? Brotherhood End is so devastating here, but I kind of need to make them do that, right? I need to play Bat. It's just 3 black to do that. I won't have it regardless. Maybe I just search for a card. If I search, we have options, chat. So obviously Synthesizer is bad. Brotherhood in here is equally as bad. I could take one and then try to outpace the other. But I take Synthesizer, forcing them to Brotherhood End, right? And then I just search my library here. Much as I don't like doing this. I search library here. Guess I could do the pace thing fast enough, right? No? No, I just put duress on top and then I can take the card with Kaervek. I can duress them, play Kaervek, maybe blow up the land for sure. Yeah, so I just put duress on top of my library. So now after they Brotherhood in me, I can then duress them and take this Synthesizer away. We like can't beat the card otherwise. And we know they're Brotherhood ending. If they don't, I'm mind blown. They find land. Yes. Sure. Makes sense. Now we know we had duress. I don't have another one drop, right? I mean, I have this, but I can't cast that. Sure. So I play Kaervek. And then I go for this. Then submit 0. And then obviously we take this Synthesizer. Now we kind of hope to dodge a land. Because if they play land and they play Mightstone, Weakstone on my Kaervek, we're in trouble. This, not near as bad as it could be. Definitely bad. That card also sucks. So it's kind of like an interesting spot we're in. Mystery card. Interesting. We can do that. It's an interesting spot. I don't know what to do. Yeah. No. And turn. Pass. Gets this one. Then we will deep cavern bat here. Blow your mana. Yeah. Resolve my trigger. This one. We'll do bat here. Could be a counter spell, I guess. Target, Kaervek, and now we duress. He wants to duress to resolve first, so I have more options. Resolve. Duress. Target. Submit 0 here. So under upkeep after they draw, we've kind of double hand disruptured them. We played this basically at flash speed. Let's take a look. So now, like, Deep Cavern Bat's already in play. Like a counter spell is a very awkward and weird card here. Because now, even if they counter my duress, my Deep Cavern Bat pops off. They could have done it the opposite way, but it is what it is. Sure. The real thing I only care about here is this duress. 3 steps ahead, good. Mightstone, Weakstone, also not available here, right? Yeah, so I guess I take the counter magic and slash draw slash whatever. That one. And then demo happens because now they would have had mana to play this because of this land coming in. So we take the only card that they could play, even though this card's so dead. Yeah. Take a swamp. I like about looked for a mountain for some reason. Cause I thought I was playing Rakdos for a brief second. All right, opponent, it's your turn. We tore their hand apart on their upkeep. All right, chat, we're cooking. It's the chef's in the kitchen and we're cooking it up. We want a Lily here because we want a minus on the Strand Spider and we want to turn up the heat as fast as we physically can. Take that.
A fight? And
Now,
you think you can win?
if they top deck a Brotherhood in, we are dead. That is just a thing that happens. Because they get to kill my Bat, my Kaervek, and my Liliana with a Brotherhood in. Listen. Not great. But like, not the worst in the world. Oh man. What a draw. What a draw. Hostile Investigator, there's nothing there. But again, if we're going to do it, yeah, so I go to combat. We put a stop on their upkeep. We're going to bully them as much as we physically can on their upkeep. Pass. This one. This one. Resolve. Pass this one. Auto pay. Resolve. I don't need to pause anymore. Smith 0. Synthesizer, we hit it. I mean, to be fair, I think what we're doing is pretty sick. Kaervek on their upkeep, non-stop interrupting them. Oh, right there's the Devastator, if there was ever one to be. We play Shieldred. Move to combat, attack with these. Kaervek has proven its worth, so I'm going to keep it around. I could have threatened lethal, I guess, with Kaervek, but this is lethal regardless, and they just let it come through, and now they'll die to my Shieldred trigger. Wow, I think of all games, we saw Kaervek do the absolute dirtiest work I've ever seen Kaervek do. The amount of times against them, we just paused them on their upkeep and did it. Although, they did have a chance to mess with me quite a lot, and I think they should have countered my Deep Cavern Bat. Even though that would have been down tempo, then they wouldn't get to my Stone Weak Stone. But allowing that bat to enter and then target them so I could then duress them, I think end up actually helping me win that game. Even though obviously 3 steps ahead, they were hoping to get to keep it and then cast it to draw more cards at the end step. But we crawled through that game. It's kind of wild. This is a rogue, right? Yeah. I think we keep this. Removal. Like a card that does benefit, like, from me targeting all this stuff with my removal. Sure. Judge, I need to read. When it deals combat damage to player, you mill 2 cards. It gets, okay. I mean, we're just gonna remove it. Right now, we don't know if our card will be good in the long term, so we just get it out of the way. I'm gonna play this demo field. Black implies that they're not gonna really have counter spells. Okay, there's the blue. Long goodbye. Good card to have kind of locked up and loaded. But I don't... Okay. Last time I saw this card is when I played it. Just like in general. And then I haven't seen it in a very long time. Oh, my opponent's deck's hot, bro. Look at this. Cool creature. I love this creature. I hate that it's like not near as playable as it could be, but that's just the way it works, you know. That's for Rexian because I don't have the other black here. I could demo field this and go get another swamp. When it enters the battlefield, mill 3 cards. When it dies, you may exile if you return target creature card. Yeah. Oh my opponent is having a time. That is for sure. I'm not worried about like committing too much of a crime here. We're gonna have a hard grindy game here, I think. Oh yeah, dude, my opponent is cooking. Dude, that's just a cool, that's the cool stuff right there, bro. I don't even care. This this deck, sick. This like -1, so we have to be a little bit careful in like combat, things like that. There could be a Fading Hope here, but it is what it be, do how it does, you know. They could double block. Oh boy, do I want them to double block? Not really, but I'm going to throw it and see if they do. No? Okay. Kelly? Kelly, a good card in these spots because it does cause a lot of problems, force him to kind of take a turn off. Huh? Yeah. I'm so in trouble. I'm so in trouble. When Hollow enters the battlefield, any number of target opponents, each discards a card. For each opponent who didn't discard a card. Yeah. Now, a little tough here. Long goodbye gonna be best. Shoot the sheriff. Can't even hit this, bro. Oh no, dude. And they have another one, so they're gonna make me discard regardless. Oh man, that sucks. Shoot the sheriff not being able to get that is actually insane. And long goodbye can't either because it's a 7-mana card. Hey, I'm getting gamed on. That's all I got, bro. I'm getting absolutely gamed on. Cost 1 less for how much? Yeah, they just got 1 mana 4/2s that they're playing. So gross. Yeah, that makes sense. I guess with that available, I should use this one. Commit a crime. I'll take my 4. It's a tough day for me. That enters. I just gotta let my shoot the sheriff go, I think. Resolve. Shoot the sheriff gone. Oh boy, I'm in so much trouble. Anything good? Is it a land? Oh my, thankful we got that out of there. No, I'm going to wait until I get lifelink on it before I ever try attacking with this. Yeah, card opponent, right? Gross. No blocks. Land this one. No counter spell. That's pretty sick. Now, here's a big problem, chat. Do we know the answer to this question? They let their venom go and they kill my deep cavern bet. They have 10 here. I get to go up 1, but then they bounce it with this. I lose this game. This game is just so over. There's just nothing I can do, I think. I don't even know what they're returning. But either way, I'm gonna let them do it. Deck's super sick, so we're gonna let him play it out. Map me opponent. Yep. As you can see how good whale can actually be in a deck like this. But I mean, yeah, they got it. I said I was gonna let him do it, but I'm not waiting. I'm just gonna move on. But it's what it is. Sometimes you lose. Sometimes you play a deck like that you're not necessarily like. I don't think I'm ever necessarily building a deck to play around this ever. So it happens. You know, you lose some, you win some. Boy, is it a keep or a pitch? I think it's gotta be a pitch. We can keep here. don't even know what this of hand. Is it Virtue? Because I guess Liliana has like way more value after coming in play. And I can use Grapple at instant speed over Virtue. On a red? Sure. Everybody's favorite. Rotation red. We'll see. Probably going to get throttled, to be honest with you. Well, they respect cut down. Well, I don't have one, so normally they never do. Oh. Alright, well, I get to pick this up pretty freely, so I'm going to go ahead and do that while I have the option to. And that's gone, so we are fine here. Maybe. Probably going to get hit for quite a little bit, if I had to guess. Ancestral Anger, number 1 on a card without prowess, number 2 on a card without prowess is like, sure, I'm going to get hit for a lot, but like, definitely not as bad as this creature could have been if it did have prowess. So we're not super far off with where we really need to be here. And I mean, Liliana definitely has to come in and minus on this. And then we have to play Massacre No Killer and then hope that kind of just sums up the battlefield here. Sure, draw your card. Hopefully they don't have another threat. Them stacking on that kind of implied they didn't have another threat, but we'll see. Oh, not getting rid of Liliana. I'm probably dead then. Yep. No? Okay. A plus right away. Well, it's kind of like a little bit weird to see him not take out my Lily while they had the chance for that play with fire. Another land, that's tough. Massacre Girl. 4/4, very strong card. Another play with fire. I'm at 7. At least they have a choice on top, it looks like. What will they do? 1 on top. They keep. Hard choice. The Witch Stalker Frenzy. And you're just like, I'll take the answer to the Massacre Girl. Phoenix Chick. Okay. Just like any threat at all. Is that kind of the vibe here, boss? Oh, plus here. See what happens.
You won't be.
I'm gonna get rid of this. I'm not really gonna be able to use its in-game ability, so I will now attack. Then I'll just play this Harvester and try to close out the game, which will also take out this Phoenix Chick and then draw me a card. Swamp. Not maybe the best draw in the world, but a draw nevertheless. What did you hit? Would you like to Ancestral Anger one of my creatures? Oh, Slick Shot. Oh boy, look at the land draws from us, chat. I mean, it's a 9 strike here. Plus, gotta just get the cavern out of the way and play the land pass. Are we dead here? No. Okay. Very interesting. I think we would have. I don't know if the math would have worked out, but it's very possible they would have got 3 extra damage with that Swiss Spear. If that Kimono, like if we didn't answer it over the Kimono, maybe. Oh well, we get there. Very cool. We go first, so I'll keep this. We were on the draw. We have to kind of think about it a little bit more, but with the Virtue into Kaervek into Shieldred, I feel like we're fine. And I do play a creature on turn 1 instead of Kimono. Ah, dude. After last game, every land draw, you might see my blood pressure rise, to be honest. Sure. Play with fire. I assume that's what they drew. If you're going to play with fire... Oh, my... Please, bro. Stop. Oh, man. At least I'll cast his Virtue. If we make it the Virtue. I wouldn't know how we'd get there. If it's an attack and a play with fire, sure. I'll save life. I have a Shieldred coming up after this. I'll take it. Monstrous Rage, even better for me. The only one that's kind of devastating is like the +2/+2. Sure. This one. This is the epitome as does just playing a Shieldren on turn 4 win the game anymore. Or it does most of the time. But play with fire. I think it does, actually. I feel like if I ever kept that hand against mono red again and I drew that way, the win odds are like gotta be like 5%. This might be an over exaggeration, but like we've had nothing for a while. They bricked on lands and didn't get to keep their threat. But it is what it is, I guess. Yeah, I mean, if we're against Boros, we feel pretty confident in this hand, considering we have kind of board wipe against them and 2 board wipe against them. This deck is kind of fitting the same script. You could argue that we do, except this card's bad. Well, no, if they play like Picnic Ruiner, we're fine. We can kind of wait here. The only issue is with green, a lot of times protection is capable of happening. I go for the removal in step if they do nothing here. Play with fire, a non-commitment, a non-committal like kind of answer here. I think I'm gonna have to hold this harvester to potentially kind of have it be a very strong play post if I can get to that 5 mana slot there. We hit another land, looking pretty solid. Let's get our Preacher down. Preacher can probably brick wall this Swift Spear. Unless they have a way to kind of go over the top. They give it trample. No first strike way here. Another land. Ancestral Anger. Again, if they attack, I'm going to allow this Preacher to kind of just go ahead and get bodied by this Swift Spear. Monstrous Rage. Have a fight spell or something? Yeah, I will use this as a gain 4 here. Yeah. That was something. I'll end turn. I have a -3/-3 here. They do nothing? Okay. I'm doing it, bro. I just can't sit here and look at these cards in my hand and not like attempt to win the game. You know, like puts me at risk, but at the same time, if I die to 3 lightning strikes, I die to 3 lightning strikes, I guess, you know. I will play Preacher and it will make lifelinkers. I could have played Harvester, but I'll use Harvester as more of a kind of removal spell here, or like the Candy Grapple was a removal spell. Go to combat. This one. Yeah. Sure. This, I don't really care what this is on. I'll play Lily. Lily will plus. Getting rid of the Deluge.
And you think you can
Because
win
that's not really a card we're looking to keep a hold of here. Thinning down their hand. This is the +2+ or whatever card I was talking about earlier that I was afraid of. And I think our former mono red match. Just this hit alone off our 1/1 puts us out of double lightning strike range. So that's actually pretty important. And with that said, our opponent decides they've had enough. It's one of the biggest problems I have with that Gruul aggro deck. Is you are so reliant on a lot of times the few creatures that you do play, where they play 2 Swift Spears, and it's not uncommon for their chances to draw another one to be very low. I'm like playing and I have a monitor that's like vertical so I can like read stuff, and my game went over there for some reason. I don't know, but sure, here we are. We'll keep. We have removal. I have spells. 3 of my cards are castable, 1 land, then 3 all my cards, but 1 is castable. I guess we're not talking about casting here. We're talking about activating ability of a card. What are we, opponent? Are we Abzan? Are we hate creatures? We hate creatures, don't we? Don't we? It's okay. It's fine to hate creatures. Okay. Candy grapple? Probably not good here. Virtue? Going to matter a lot. White Suns? Going to be hard to beat. They don't play any counter magic. Deadly cover up. Yep. We are Abzan, blow up everything. And you know what card really can't be answered that well? Liliana. You know what card we can't answer that well? Up the Beanstalk. That is a card we cannot answer. You know what, chat? For the first time in a long time, this is available. So normally it's too low, and I can't. It doesn't work. I'm going to use this, and I'm going to draw 3. Cut down, probably bad. Do cut down.
We all have things we'd rather.
So here's the thing, right? Without a land from our opponent that can attack my Liliana or Mirix tokens, of course, White Suns is also possible. I just don't know where we really reside when it comes to answering this Lily.
Don't
No?
think things.
I'll just plus. They'll make a Mirix token, sure. If I don't give them anything to target, they don't have anything to do. I can grapple this. And my Lily can ult. I have multiple ways to get rid of this. Because I would love... I guess let's see if they attack Lily or not. Because if they don't attack Lily, I'm not going to remove it. Remove this. No counter spells in this variation of control. Yeah. We deadly covering up cards? Is that where we're at? Are we casting this to exile cards? Yeah. Yeah, we are. As my video, I said if you play against control, you run into a lot of problems because you start casting board wipes that target nothing. And you just exile a card at random that you think's the best. There isn't one other copy of that card in my deck. You can have it. You have to look at my deck though. That's important. That is very important actually. Go for the third, not good against this match. So we'll get rid of it. I want my Lily at 7 so it can survive. And I'll play my Shieldred. And now Liliana can ult, and I can basically divide their mana in half. I'll put their 2 colorless lands with their cornucopia, I think. Or I'll... that depends. Sure. Have cut down as well. That's fine. This Lily ult's going to be tough. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm going to have to figure out what I need to do with this Lily ult. Ah, this Lily ult's going to be so annoying. If I give them 4 mana... No. It should be like... this, this, and this, and this. Like that, maybe? So they can keep their black-white mana and lose all their green and 2 colorless lands and a beanstalk, or they can keep kind of better mana but way less. So I think that's the play. And this ability is resolving, so they have to choose. So they lose 3 lands or 2 lands. Okay, they take the colorless kind of situation. Now I'll cast this Virtue. Because now their virtues are just uncastable. Like, they don't have an option for them. And I can bring back my Shieldred. They don't have a board wipe for Shieldred. They're going to use this demo field to fix their mana. But as you can tell, they don't have a green to go get. Based on the deck list I've seen. So I don't think they played mine. but I would assume this is Covert's deck list. Same deck list, but Covert played it. They don't have a green to go get, which is information we know that they don't know that we know. It could Sunfall me, but I'm going to plus Lily. So I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to plus and constantly take a part of their hand.
You won't be outsmarted.
And just make it as hard as possible. Because again, they can't really remove Liliana. Another Beanstalk. Again, no green. They did not have that basic green in their deck. Something that we knew from playing the deck list. That's why you always got to pay attention. As much as it could be like considered annoying, you know, like having to watch what your opponents are playing at all times. But we watch, so we know that they run one of each basic. And if I ever find a demo field, I'm blowing up this cave, and they won't have the option anymore. So go for the third, get rid of that. Fine. I'll just hard cast this. Now plus this, taking their last card. Sunfall, a card that we knew. That was an option. But Lily ult coming through. This is what... I played this deck yesterday. As I said already, as you can tell, my game was crashed as I have a point. But my big complaint was dodge control. And you can argue that our mid-range strategy with the discard plan is a control deck. So they do fall to Liliana because they just have no way to remove it. All right, chat. Well, we had a roller coaster of a day today for sure. I played about 4 different variations of Mono Black today. 2 of them you won't even see. It was so bad, chat. Now, was it some of it on the deck, or was some of it on the fact that, like, I just got put on the draw and rickrolled by Boros Convoke? Yeah, pretty bad on one of them. One of the games, on turn 1, I played land. I played a Tiny Bones joins up. They discarded a Knight Errant and then proceeded to play a Knight Errant, find an Imadanes, and then kill me on turn 3. So that was super sick. Can't beat that when that happens. I just lose. Even though I have this in my deck, I cannot beat that start. Like, most decks can't. Sometimes that's the way it goes. You call it a day, but there's nothing to learn there, so we just cut it and move on. But I actually found myself back on Massacre Girl the entire time I played other decks. Now, obviously, it's a mythic. If you don't want to craft it, don't craft it. Totally makes sense to me. But the main thing I was missing outside of game 1 that you'll see from, like, the different variation where Kaervek did the most ludicrous things Kaervek's ever done that I've ever seen. But Massacre Girl, the draws were so important, and I was missing that a lot. The amount of games that I've lost today where the last 3 minutes is me just drawing lands. Me and my opponent, we're both in top deck mode. My opponent finds a spell, plays it, I draw a land, I play it. My opponent finds a spell, they play it, I draw a land, they play it, and it just, like, not having more draw spells is kind of Mono Black's downfall. And that's why, like, a card like Invoke Despair was so good, and Reckoner Bankbuster. That's why they had to play those cards, because they needed to constantly put cards in their hand. But those cards are banned. So, got to make up for that. And one of the major things I put in this deck was this card. A card I haven't played too much of in the past, but a card I actually kind of buckled and played this time around. I just realized I forgot to put the demo fields in this deck. Probably put a couple demolition fields in the deck, honestly. And you could argue play as many caverns as you want because you have a lot of creatures. But you got to be careful because you do have a lot of Mono Black cards that require mana pips. So be careful of that. Just know that, like, demolition field does trigger our Kaervek here. So it is important to note that sometimes having those in play. Very good. But playing this card here, there was a couple of times where I just said, you know what? I have a Liliana in play. I have this card. It might put me at risk to potentially dying to a good top deck to my opponent, but we have to try to win the game. And I just barrel 3 cards, and we find some good connecting pieces to help us stay alive and win the game. And it actually felt good. And also, getting the draw 3 with a Shieldred in play, even though you could technically at that point tutor and then draw 3. We lose 3, but then gain 6, so we net 3 life. It's very cool. But outside of that, I had fun. Standard's going to be a weird place. you're probably going to see me play pretty similar decks to what I've been playing. I mean, we're like 10 days out. It's probably going to be just like most of the format. It's probably going to be pretty stale. If there's something else you would like to see me play, I don't ever really play cube drafts, but like I could. I don't think anybody would necessarily be into that, but I don't know. I've only done really standard content. I've explored the other formats a little bit, but it's just like, as big as my channel is, it's kind of hard to do that, you know? So it's what it is. If anybody has any advice, please let me know in the comments. I'll definitely read them. I always read my comments, but outside of that, I hope you all enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you in the next one. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.